طيب. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين. أما بعد. So tonight, inshallah, I want to address a single verse. Most certainly it will take more than half an hour, but I'll try and squeeze it so that we don't overshoot the prayer for Isha, inshallah. Verse number 89 of Surat Al Maeda, المولى عز وجل says, لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم الأيمان فكفارته إطعام 10 مساكين من أوسط ما تطعمون أهليكم أو كسوتهم أو تحرير رقبة فمن لم يجد فصيام 3 أيام ذلك كفارة أيمانكم إذا حلفتم كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تشكرون. That's the entire verse 89. What is the verse saying? لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم. Allah will not hold you responsible for oaths that are unintentional. Laghu. Laghu is the frivolous talk. Is said to be laghu in the Arabic language. Allah is telling us that oaths that are of this classification, Allah will not hold you responsible for. لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم الأيمان. But He will hold you responsible for those oaths that you made deliberately. بما عقدتم الأيمان. That you made deliberately. In this case, فَكَفَّارَتُهُ is expiation. كَفَّارَتُهُ What's the expiation here? إِطْعَامُ 10 مَسَاكِينَ مِنْ أَوْسَطِ مَا تُطْعِمُونَ أَهْلِكُمْ. You feed 10 needy people of that which is, the direct translation is of that which is of the middle of what you feed your own family. من أوسط ما تطعمون أهلكم. And we'll explain what is أوسط now. أو كسوتهم, or giving them clothes. أو تحرير رقبة, or يعني freeing a slave. أو تحرير رقبة. فمن لم يجد, and for he who does not find the ability to do the above, فصيام 3 أيام. فصيام 3, fasting for 3 days. ذلك كفارة أيمانكم إذا حلفتم. This is the expiation of your oath if you do. You do it deliberately. تمام? واحفظوا أيمانكم. I missed that part in the ayah. واحفظوا أيمانكم. And you shall preserve your oath. We also explain what does that mean. كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تشكرون. And as such, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is explaining to you His signals so that you would be grateful and thankful for Him. Tamam? This is the translation of the verse, inshallah. So, al-laghu fil ayman, the scholars had really a prolonged discussion and debate about what is al-laghu fil ayman. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mean of that, by that frivolous oath, a frivolous oath, laghu. What is it? So some of them would say, if you unintentionally make an oath by saying, for example, La wallahi, I didn't do that, or yes wallahi, I tried to see you, but something like that. This is a frivolous oath that is done unintentionally. That is la. That's the definition of la according to Shafi'i. Others tell you that a laghu in oath is if you are jokingly saying, Wallahi, I would kill you. That doesn't mean that I have to kill you so that I fulfill the oath. This is this is hazard, right? It's a joking method. That does not, so that qualifies for laghu fil ayman. If you make an oath to commit a ma'siyah, that is also considered laghu. also considered that. And also it was said that if you make an oath based on the best speculation of what you believe is the case, but may or may not be. غلبة الظن they call. When you make an oath based on غلبة الظن, based on speculation, speculation. That is the definition that Abu Hanifa or Ahmad ibn Hanbal go for, defining al-lam. Others say it is actually the oath that is being made in anger, in a state of anger. And that one, some people take and flex a little bit further to go to the yameen of talaq, for example. And a lot of scholars would say that yameen talaq, if made in a state of anger, rage, does not count. Does not count. Instead, if a man wants to divorce his wife, he has to be in a level-headed state and deliberate in saying the words. Tamam? That is also considered lam. If you are in a state of rage or anger and you make an oath, that is considered lam. Or if you forgot, some Rohan will say, I saw you yesterday in downtown Walnut Creek. I say, Wallahi, I never was in downtown yesterday. But I forgot. I probably, dropped by to pick up some blueprints from the print shop or something, and I missed that. And just made the oath unintentionally in a state of forgetfulness. Then that also constitutes a lam. Constitutes lam.
What does that mean?
Lahu meaning unintentional oath.
Okay.
And that is the kind of oath that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his opening statement of the verse 89 says, لا يؤاخذكم الله باللغو في أيمانكم. Allah will not hold you to an oath that is a frivolous oath, that is considered lam. Anger, forgetfulness, or jokingly, all of the things that we mentioned here, unintentionally is the definition that Shafi'i went by, and it is the correct definition. Any unintentional oath is lam. It's very important to define it, define the terms, because for that there is no harm done. You see, there is no harm done. But Allah will hold you responsible for that which you have made intentionally. You made an oath intentionally. That's a different story. It's a different story. For that you have to have an expiation. You have to have kafara. You have to have a kafara. Also, related to something that we mentioned about Surat Al Maeda the last time we were talking about it, is if you make an oath of letting go some sort of food or clothing or the like, that is not haram. That is not haram. You remember when we spoke about the young man who said he made a vow not to eat meat because it arises his animal instincts and the like, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said you should not do so. Remember also Osman ibn Mas'ud, who was married to Aisha al-Hawla, remember we told his story, right? Who made a vow not to touch his woman so that he would free himself for the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Nabi said, no, you cannot do that.
Also the Prophet, peace be upon him, he also made such a vow to
Taban.
his wives.
Taban. Allahu Akbar. Haqqa. And he did a kafara, by the way. We will talk about that also. Tamam. Mr. Ibrahim, كيف حالك؟ يبقى remember the verse that we mentioned was وَلَا تُحَرِّمُوا طَيِّبَاتِ مَا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ. If something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made halal for you, ya akhi, you shall not by a vow or an oath prohibit yourself from. No. If you remember what happened with Uthman ibn Mad'un, Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam ordered him to go and become intimate with his wife. And when he told him, I am fasting, Ya Rasulullah, he said, make it fast. Break your fast. You cannot make an oath for something that is, this is not prohibited for you. لا تحرموا طيبات ما أحل الله لكم. You shall not prohibit that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made halal for you. طيب. So in Imam Shafi'i, yes, Mr. Shafi'i.
When you're mad or something, or you
Angry
and you say something to your wife,
Ayub.
like especially about divorce.
Especially about divorce, it does not count.
Doesn't count. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't count. However, there is a minority opinion that it does. And they will tell you a man will never divorce his wife when he's in a happy mood. تمام؟ You really have to be angry to say anti-talaq. But I believe that it had been used so excessively by men in recent times that if you would hold them to each and every anti-talaq they mentioned, then all these households will be ruined. But again, it's a matter of the status of the people. Yeah. For example, especially matter of talaq. Ayam Umar, Ridwanullah alayhi, he noticed that men were using the 3 times talqa in one time. Anti-talaq bit-talat. Thrice divorced. 3 times divorced. In one. Allahu Akbar. With the insight that he has and the knowledge of the people at the time, he realized that these people are abusing this right. The men are abusing this right of divorcing, and you divorce 3 times, and then up to that point, if you do that thrice thing, it counts only as one talq. Even if you say to the wife anti-talaq bit-talat, if it's happening at one time, then it's one. Umar, to punish the men for that, he said, okay, if you say thrice, we will count it for you 3 talqat. Which means that what? فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِنْ بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنْكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ. She has to go and marry somebody else, and then if she divorces, she can come back to you. Men started getting in line back. They knew that it will count that way. That kept, by the way, for a long time after Umar, until the time of maybe Ibn Taymiyyah, 700 Hijri. Umar, we talk about 20 Hijri or so, took all the way, more than 700 years later, that Ibn Taymiyyah got back to the original opinion that no matter how many times you say, if it's said at one point, it is one talqa. It's known as talqa raj'iyya. Talqa meaning you can have your wife back. Raj'iyya from return, you can return your wife. When a talqa raj'iyya. As opposed to a talqa that is known as a talqa ba'ina. Talqa ba'ina meaning تبين عنه he cannot return her again. الطلقة الرجعية, by the way, shahid. So you can the wife has to stay in فترة عدة, right? 3 months of عدة. But during that فترة عدة, the ex-husband has the right to request her back as a wife, يراجعها, and it doesn't require neither shuhud nor a new contract, a new act. No. He can do that by a word. Some scholars even say he doesn't even have to say a word. If he takes her and they go into a room and lock themselves inside, خلاص, they baragah. Right? So that's... Al-ba'ina is after 3 times, that's a ba'ina. And then there is also another distinction between baynuna sughra and baynuna kubra. Baynuna sughra is if you give her 3 talqat, then you cannot have her back unless she gets to marry somebody else. But there is a baynuna kubra, which is what? Which are those women who are haram for you as far as marriage goes forever. Your mother, your sister, your daughter, and the like. حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم. You see? Anyway, so you guys are insisting to take me off my subject tonight. Wallahi, we can pray Isha close to Fajr. That's up to you.
No more questions.
خلاص. So now, correct is what Shafi said, which is لا يؤمن الله بالله فإن لا meaning unintentional. How did you get that? Because the following part of the verse says ولكن يؤاخذكم بما عقدتم الأيمان. But he holds you responsible for that which you have made deliberately. So therefore the other one is the one that is not deliberate, unintentional. But the intentional, you have to make a kafara for. You have to make a kafara. طيب, we mentioned about إطعام 10 مساكين من أوسط ما تطعمون أهليكم. Again, technically, أوسط meaning the middle of. The middle of that which you feed your people, your own family, may not indicate the meaning that is intended by the verse precisely, but what is meant is that you feed them of that which you yourself and your family consume as food. Yani, you cannot, for example, make food for the family and then another food for the kafara, of lesser quality. La. You have to make it in the same nature of that food that you consume with your household. Tamam? Then comes the question, then a matter of fiqh, because this ayah is an ayah of ahkam, ayat ahkam, right? And there is a name for this ayah, we will say it at the end, inshallah. And with ayat al-ahkam, there is always matters of fiqh that are addressed. For example, إطعام 10 مساكين, feeding 10 needy people. How much? The number is 10, but how much do you feed them?
1 meal?
Huh?
1 meal?
1 meal? Yeah, mungkin 1 meal. But there is an opinion that says, no, you give them lunch and dinner, so it's 2 meals. But the majority opinion is 1 meal. Not just a 1 meal, but if it is 1 meal, it cannot be a cheese sandwich. If it is a 1 meal, it has to contain meat and it has to contain bread. And if there is no meat and bread, then you have to have samn or asal, a good meal, and the quantity of which is so that they are they are full. So that satisfying the need of the person for a full meal. طيب, another opinion is that the amount is نصف صاع من بر. نصف صاع. A صاع is a unit of measure, not unit of volume. Unit of volume, it's a large cup. It's a large cup. It's not like our cup, the measuring cup that we have in our kitchens today, but instead it's probably around, and these are best estimates, because there is no sa' to measure with today, but it's about 2.5 of these cups. I say, about 2.5 of cups is a sa'. And remember that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he died, his shield was pawned with a Jew. Because of what? Because he borrowed from that Jew 25 sa' of sha'ir, of barley, to feed his household. His household. 25 sa'. So that's the measure. That's the measure. That sa' is about 2.5 cups. Right. نصف sa', so it's a little bit more than a cup and a quarter or something. نصف sa' of wheat. Of wheat, right? The thing that you make bread of. The basic element of bread. Or if you don't have that, then you make it a full sa', the measure, 2.5 cups of dates, for example, or anything else. Dates or anything else. Tamam? That's the opinion, by the way, of Abu Hanifa. That's the opinion of Abu Hanifa. نصف صاع من بر أو تمر is the opinion of Umar wa Ali. Umar wa Ali. You see the distinction? Abu Hanifa says if it's not bur, then it becomes a sa', not stays as a nusf sa'. not a half a cup, but a full cup. But Abu Hanifa said it's نصف صاع من بر وصاع من معدة and a full cup of anything else. And then, as Mr. Shahid mentioned, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did in fact make a kafarat yameen. He did make a kafarat yameen. And when he did it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he made it with sa'in min tamr. And that's a hadith about that narrated by Ibn Abbas. He said in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, كفر بصاع من تمر وأمر الناس به ومن لم يجد فنصف صاع من بر. يبقى what the Nabi did was he used the sa' of dates and saying if you can then half of that of wheat. That's what the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم ordered. طيب إطعام 10 مساكين أو كسوتهم. And then the scholars will start arguing what constitutes kiswa. Kiswa is a generic term for cover, clothes that cover. Min kasa meaning cover. Type what is intended by the kiswa here in the verse? Again, different takes. Shafi'i, he said that if he gave each of the 10 needy people anything that qualifies as an attire or clothing, it qualifies. Yeah, if he gave 10 shirts, that's fine. If he gave 10 pairs of pants, that's fine. But then there are other opinions, by the way, that are different from Shafi'i in that. Imam Malik and Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they say, no, it has to be clothing sufficient for a person to pray in. يعني يبقى في ستر عورة بقى، مش كده؟ You cannot pray in a pair of shorts. تمام؟ فيبقى or you cannot pray with your belly button exposed or thing, or a woman, the man is different from a woman. Therefore each have their own restrictions. خلاص؟ يبقى whatever attire, the married one, they say if you do it, you give them clothing that is fit to conduct a prayer in. تمام؟ طيب. Sittina Aisha said any cloak qualifies for a kiswa. Any cloak, يعني أي عباءة. And عباءة does, by the way, the function of القميص والسروال مجتمعين. مش كده؟ So it covers both. طيب. Then we come to أو تحرير رقبة. تحرير رقبة, freeing a slave. Again, it is something that is not really practically relevant to us at our times because there are no slaves. But at the time it applied. أو تحرير رقبة. طيب, what kind of a رقبة? You free. يعني Abu Hanifa said, I take it as an absolute, على إطلاق. Meaning what? Meaning, is it okay then to make free? Shahid will not be here.
Excuse me.
You can free a person who is not a Muslim, kafir. ولا لازم it has to be a mu'min that you free? Abu Hanifa said anything. Mu'min or no mu'min, it is a raqab. You can free either or. Why? Because the verse says tahrir raqaba, it didn't specify. It kept it in an absolute statement. So it can be this or that. But that is not the opinion of Shafi'i. Shafi'i said no, it has to be a raqaba mu'mina. It has to be for a believer. You see these finesses in al-fiqh, akhi, yani they go into very careful detailing about each and every aspect of a matter as such. And again, we are saying this is a verse of ahkam. And then based on this, there's going to be the behavior of a Muslimin to the end of time when it comes to kafarat al-yamin. Kafarat al-yamin. So it has to be very clear. It has to be very clear. And Shafi'i says kafir doesn't qualify for kafarat, for atqiyah. It has to be a mu'min. Why, ya Shaykh Shafi'i? You say that? He said, I do qiyas based on the expiation in the case of qatl. In the case of qatl, you'd have to give the equivalence of raqaba mu'mina. And although the two things are different in their essence, but they are they are adjoined in the root. The root is kafar. The root is a kafar. But there is a kafara for qatl khata, and here is a kafara for yamin. But based on that, I base this on that, and I say that it has to be a raqaba mu'mina. The technical terminology here is اتحاد الموجب وإن اختلف السبب. That's what الشافعي says. اتحاد الموجب وإن اختلف السبب. يعني الموجب للكفارة is the same, but the reason is different. The reason is different. But there is a kafara in both cases, and it has to be mu'mina, since the one in case of qatl is as such. طيب, notice also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the verse takes it gradually, and takes it gradually from the easiest to the hardest. إطعام 10 مساكين is easier than clothing the 10 people, which in turn is also easier than releasing a slave. مش كده؟ So the verse took the kafara من الأدنى إلى الأعلى. من الأدنى إلى الأعلى. أو they say أسهل فالأسهل. طيب. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَصِيَامُ 3 أيام. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَصِيَامُ 3 أيام. Therefore, if you cannot make feeding of 10 needy people, or clothing them, or releasing a slave, then you do what? You fast for 3 days. And as such, we need to understand that the verse saying فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ, meaning what? Meaning if you ask anybody, a non-specialist, what do I do if I make a yamin and I want to make a kafara? I made an oath and I need to make a kafara. He will tell you what? Fast 3 days. Fast 3 days indeed is in there, but it is the last option. It is the last option, it's not the first option. If you cannot do any of these 3, then you fast for 3 days. شوف ازاي؟ That's an important specification here. Important thing. طيب, صيام 3 أيام, another question comes. Do these 3 days have to be consecutive? Or can you spread them out? You see? That's how things are determined in fiqh. That's how things are determined in fiqh. Do they have to be? And if you're talking about consecutive, is that a wajib? يعني على الوجوب ولا على الاستحباب? يعني is that a requirement that they have to be 3 consecutive? Or is it mustahab, meaning recommended that they are 3 consecutive days في الصيام. تمام؟ طيب. There are 2 takes on that one. One is that Shafi'i, actually in a book called Al-Iman, he says it doesn't have to be 3 consecutive days. any 3 separate days will do. Huh? And this is also the opinion of Malik. Also the opinion of Malik. Yani you would find a lot of Shafi'i or Maliki that yani come up with similar takes on different positions. Also you will find a lot of Abu Hanifa or Ahmad ibn Hanbal being together in a lot of their takes. طيب. Malik بقى, he justifies the fact that you don't have to be doing them in sequence. Yeah, they don't have to be 3 consecutive days. He says what? He says the verse says what? فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ. يبقى 3 أيام here is generic. It doesn't say 3 consecutive days. Hence, you can separate those 3 days. Huh? You can make them at whatever way you would like to do. And he says, and he takes the rationale from Qada Ramadan, for example. You say you have a cold and you had to take some medication for 3 days or 2 days or something in Ramadan. So you didn't fast those 2 or 3 days. After Ramadan, you make a qada. You fast those 2 or 3 days. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't mandate that those days be in sequence. Not at all. Why? Listen to the Quran al-Karim. What does it say? فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخْرٍ. فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخْرٍ. Meaning, you just choose to equate the days that you missed of any other days that are outside of Ramadan. There is no restriction in the sequence. However, surprisingly, the opinion of Shafi'i that they don't have to be consecutive in the book of Al-Iman, he opposes with a different opinion in his main book known as Kitab Al-Umm, the major book of Imam Shafi'i rahmatullah alayh, is Al-Umm. In that book he says, no, you make them 3 consecutive days in fasting. You make them 3 consecutive days. And in that he would be siding with the Hanafiya or Hanabla. He would be siding with those. Abdullah ibn Abbas, now we're getting there as far as time goes, alhamdulillah, but we are also getting there with the conclusion of this presentation, inshallah. He said, لما نزلت آية الكفارات قال حذيفة. Now there is a name for this verse. It is known as آية الكفارات. And notice الكفارات is the plural of الكفارة, right? Because you have the options there. حذيفة بن اليمان, Amin Sir, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he asked the Nabi by saying, Ya Rasulullah, نحن بالخيار, meaning, Ya Rasulullah, is it up to us? Do we have the choice of these kafarat that are mentioned in the verse? And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, أنت بالخيار, it's up to you, it's optional, it's up to you. If you choose to release a slave, you do it. If you choose to clothe 10 needy people, you do it. If you choose to feed 10 people, you do it. But if you can't, and in the hadith he says, when answering Huzaifa, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ مُتَتَابِعَاتٍ. يبقى you have in the hadith هنا بقى another statement that validates the opinion of Al-Hanabla or Hanafi, meaning that you have to do the 3 days in sequence. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ مُتَتَابِعَاتٍ. Consecutive. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ. وَحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ. What does that mean? It means that, again, the translation doesn't do it justice when you say, حْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ, preserve your oath. It doesn't say much about it, but it actually means that, حْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ, meaning that if you made a yameen that requires a kafara, make sure that you take care of the kafara. That's how you preserve your yameen. Make sure that you do the kafara. In other words, don't just say, خلاص يعني, it's gone. No, you have to do. If you have any questions, we can take them quickly so that we can do the Isha, inshallah.
Could it be also could it be also تحفظ من يتحفظ على الشيء يعني do not make it a lot of
that can be also that can be
as well.
It's not the main interpretation in the books of tafsir, by the way, but it makes sense. وَاحْفَظُوا أَيْمَانَكُمْ could mean that what you said, which is be sure that you don't overdo the oaths so that you don't subject yourself to kafara. And indeed, that's a good practice for all of us. Shy away from oaths. Because you don't want to burden yourself with something that you don't have to. I had a young man about a month or so ago, or maybe more than a month, a couple of months. He came to me after the Jum'ah, and he said, I made a nazr, and I cannot really keep it now. Cannot keep the nazr that I made. And it's the equivalence of it financially is about maybe $300 or something like that. Can you make sure that you can take that $300 and spend it so that I would have fulfilled the nazr? I said, fine, we'll do that. And we did that, and I sent him an email. I said, already spent the $300. But make sure that you do not go into the nazr situation after that. You all know what nazr is? Nazr. You don't know what nazr is? Okay. A nazr is an oath to do something contingent on something else that happens. For example, if my kid passes the exam, I will slaughter a sheep. Then you can't slaughter the sheep. But this is an oath that you made to. Now you are burdened yourself with a nadr that you have to fulfill. If you don't fulfill, then you are not in good standing with Allah. So that's really what I sent him. Indeed, in the email, informing him that it's already spent, your $300 already spent. But make sure, if you don't subject yourself, you are burdening your own self. You didn't have to. So نسأل الله العافية.
I think he was burdening the masjid, not him.
No?
I think he was burdening the masjid, not him.
Well, it was not easy to spend $300 here, Mr. Shakib.
I have a bill, do you want to pay?
Huh?
I have a bill, do you want to pay? Please.
Allah يغنيك بالفضل. طيب, people are coming here, inshallah, they're making the sunnah. So we can answer a couple of questions before we conclude, inshallah, if they are there. If not, then we will make our dua, inshallah. Mr. Ala.
So, is it permissible to choose the opinion of one of the four scholars?
طبعا.
Even if you don't follow?
طبعا it is. It is. Those opinions are there. Again, you remember the flexibility and Salat al-Duha of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? In matters of fiqh, this is always there. In matters of fiqh, it's never one ruling.
Yeah, but people follow madhab.
No, yeah.
So you cannot do it the way you like this one and then you switch to the other one and switch back over.
That's right. If you are cherry picking from the madhahib, and you want to go to the easiest in one mas'ala, and then you go to another mas'ala and you find that the Shafi'i has an easier way out, so you go Shafi'i. And then another mas'ala, there is a Malki that gives you an easier route, then you're really now mishandling that matter. Some people tell us that if you want to stick to one mazhab, you say, for example, we in Egypt, for example, we love Imam Shafi. And we follow Mazhab Shafi. I know that, for example, you would be Maliki, same as Shakib, for example, in your country. مش كده Shakib? Maliki. And the Pakistan and the Gulf, the Hanafi, they go with that. If you want to keep in order, say, okay, I'm going to follow Imam Abu Hanifa. Nobody's going to blame you for following Abu Hanifa, but don't cherry pick. Don't try to weasel your way in matters of deen. Now you're really bargaining with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tamam?
What do you mean cherry picking, doctor?
Cherry picking meaning I choose the easy route in each of the madhab. In a mas'ala, I find that it's easier to follow qawl al-Shafi'i, for example. So I take Shafi'i in this mas'ala. But in another mas'ala, Malik may give me a better or an easier solution or an easier opinion. For I follow him here. And I follow another madhab in another problem that I face. And that's what I meant by cherry picking. You cannot take the easy way out in each and every madhab and say, I'm going to go with the easiest of all madhab.
Well,
It's not recommended.
what my question derives is that, my question is that, if, for example, if you know authentic hadith, Prophet ﷺ did this, you say, no, I don't want to do it because I'm Hanafi, no, I want to do it Imam Maliki. See, I'll give you an example.
No.
In Sahih Bukhari, authentic Sahih hadith, Prophet ﷺ made Rafi Adain.
Yes.
Now, Hanafi, this is called an action that requires both of your hands. Your salat is not good. So that's Hanafi's opinion.
No.
Now, if I know for sure that Prophet ﷺ did it,
No.
and I want to do it because of him,
You do it. Of course, if there
and
is...
then it's another example also. In Sahih Bukhari, Prophet ﷺ didn't say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim out loud with Surah Fatiha.
No.
But some mazahib does.
No.
And if I don't do it, that doesn't mean I don't follow that mazhab. So what I'm just asking from you is that if you know an authentic hadith
No.
that is accurate in Sahih Bukhari or whatever is solid, would you follow that, or you say, no, I'm Hanafi or Maliki or Shafi'i?
If there is an authentication about the actions, the words or the actions of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that is a sunnah that you and I follow without discussion. Khalas. We are sure that this is what the Nabi did, this is what we do. Khalas. Abu Hanifa or Malik and the others, they didn't come to bring us a new deen. لا يا أخي. They're only giving you their understanding based on their own experiences and own rationalization of aspects of the deen. Raising your hands or doing this or doing that. And most of the times, Mr. Haji, you will find that Rasulullah ﷺ did things in alternate ways. Just to give us that peace of mind that you can do this or you can do away with that. Rafa, for example, when you're Sami Allahu liman hamida, some people say you have to do that, others say you don't have to. Imagine, this is good, this is good. But if you know some practice that Rasulullah has done, then that overrules any other human being, khalas. Overrules any other human being.
But we are not allowed to make ijtihad. We're not in that position. Like
في العبادة?
For the determination of the hadith,
أيوة.
we can't go above Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik and Imam Hanbal.
No.
And make our own ijtihad.
لا, all ijtihad in the ibadah is not, it is not recommended. And again, the rule here, the fiqh rule is al-asl fi al-ibadah al-ittibaa. Translation, the basic fundamental aspect of worshipping is to follow. So you know that this is what the Nabi did, this is what we follow. And by the way, fortunately, that all the madhahib, when they have different, example like we did in Ayat al-Kafarat, different positions on one aspect or another, it's almost invariably in the peripheral matters. It is never in the fundamental aspects of the deen. Never. But it's always on the branches, not in the root. It's always on the outskirts of the deen. That's where they have these different things. And we're saying, whichever you take from these scholars, so long as your heart is content to that opinion, that's what you do. That's what you do. But as Haji said, if there is a valid cause to know that this is what the Nabi did or said, khalas. This is what we do and what we practice, inshallah. I think we
even Imam Shafi said that, right? If you find a authentic hadith, take that one rather than. So what I would say is, I understand everything is I mean, small things. But if you see a hadith for that, then we don't want to go to the madahib.
Imam Shafi'i, and he is who he is in the status of Islamic scholars, a brilliant scholar, all of whom, by the way, Abu Hanifa, not less. But Imam Shafi'i was the one who said, قولي صواب يحتمل الخطأ وقول غيري خطأ يحتمل الصواب. What I am giving you in opinion is correct, but with the possibility of being wrong. With the possibility of being wrong. And Imam Abu Hanifa, because they based the science on specific finite amount of knowledge, مش كده؟ يعني you would be surprised at how few ahadith Imam Abu Hanifa had to build his whole madhab upon. There are sayings that all he based his madhab upon is about 70, 72 hadith. That's it. The rest is the workings of his mind. And this is why he said also, Abu Hanifa, if you find what I'm saying in accordance to Kitab wa Sunnah, take it. If you find it contradicting, don't do it. He's saying himself that I may have missed something. I may have missed something. If I missed it and you know that it is contradicting to Kitab or Sunnah, khalas, don't take it.
Yeah, I mean, that's right, but what I'm saying is just for an example. So, Prophet ﷺ said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. So,
Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli.
So, just for an example in the prayer, pray
as you see me do.
Right.
Sah.
So, even if you take the matter of where we have to put our hand. So, if you see an authentic hadith where Prophet has put his hand on chest, and if some other is saying, no, we are going with something else, means we are wise enough to take a decision there itself, right? So this is clear. And what I feel, just for this example, I don't believe Prophet sometimes put on the chest, sometimes put on the, bottom, right? Prophet has put only on one place. So what I'm saying is, if you see an authentic hadith, which clearly says, not only the reason I'm telling on this topic is, I have seen plenty of hadiths. Prophet has put his hands on chest. But some madhab is saying, no, we have to put it somewhere else. So in that case, you itself, it's very clear. But then why people are going with
that's why when we were discussing with Hajj, we said, if you know for sure that this is the practice of a Nabi, then there is no room for wiggle.
Then my question is, then why are we saying it's okay to take madhab also? That's topic.
This is exactly my question was. So for example, the hand on the chest is on Sahih Bukhari's torso, which is here. But in Tirmidhi, it says he put it down there, narrated by another Sahaba. So that's what my question was. That one Sahaba narrated, his hands was here. There's another hadith in Tirmidhi that it says it was below his belly button. So my question is, which one you take? At that point, you have a choice. But if you don't have a choice, it's one mission.
Khalas.
Then what are you
going
to do?
You take the one choice that you know is authenticated by Rasulullah, that's that. But for example,
but on the hands I've seen in Tirmidhi, if you look at the Tirmidhi, it says you can put your hands on a Sahaba, I don't remember the name of it, but they put it underneath his belly button.
And yes, let me just again open up some wiggle room here. When it comes to this positioning of the hands, you cannot really be certain that Rasulullah did not do it this way and that way. Cannot really.
But
maybe he did.
I'll check that hadith.
Check it out.
I didn't get it. So if you can give me that one, and also the authenticity, right?
But
so that's what the scholars comes in. But I seen it that is mentioned that he used his hands below his belly button. And also he put it on his chest, and he also put it on his torso. Now if you put it on your torso, you can't get it here. You can get it a little bit lower. But he put it here. So I don't know. Allah knows best.
But
I'm not a scholar. That's what I'm asking.
The only reason I take this example is in the past few days itself, I could even I saved that hadith. So I would say more than 5 hadiths it's same topic like okay, Prophet has put it on the chest.
No.
But if Haji is saying that one, I can check that authenticity. I mean, if you
Tamam.
that's fine, but
The only thing that I try to impress on an issue as such is don't be very rigid about matters because you don't have the whole knowledge.
no, it's not me
but-
or be right. It's,
No.
because we have
What I'm saying is, for example, in Malikiya, they pray with their hands like this at times.
Mm.
Is applicable for Malikiya. طيب, they have rationale. But did you know that, for example, Imam Malik used to have his hands lowered because of the punishments that he was subjected to in prison. He was imprisoned and he was subjected to a lot of punishment to the extent that he had one of his hands paralyzed. So it's a position that he cannot really physically have his hands raised. So if you know that, you can tell that the isdal in the salah, there is a rationalization for it, but it has to be put in context. What I don't want is that people start getting into arguments because of this or that. We need to override this matter. I have seen, and I told you this before, I have seen people who would not pray with one another because of just where the position of the hands are. If this matter is subject for debate, and maybe one of Azwaj al-Nabi would say that he did it this way when he was at home. One time, you don't know, I don't know. What I'm saying is, do we get into arguments because of matters as such to the extent that we lose the unity of us as Muslims?
No, I totally got
No,
that.
I just want to press the point
I
there.
totally got that point. We don't
Come.
want to, but what I'm saying is, rather than saying, okay, you can take whatever this one, rather than saying that, what I feel is the best way of saying is, whatever you feel, you get as authentic.
Haq.
Because tomorrow nobody is going to ask, did you follow Abu Hanifa?
No,
Did you follow-
they're going to ask you
We'll
what
ask
you
Did
did.
you follow? Yeah.
Haq.
So,
So the science of hadith is really, it's a science. Just interpreting hadith like this because you read it, you don't see the whole context of everything and spend years and years studying. You cannot have an opinion, and everyone will have an opinion reading hadith.
It's a very slippery slope in
If
this.
you don't get into that.
Exactly.
So
What I'm-
the Madahib al-Arba'a, they studied that a lot. And I think when they have opinion, they're basing it on the
It's
studies.
backed up by
Backed up a lot of things.
by
So ask someone, Sheikh al-Azhar, or someone who knows the field, and he will guide you through it. I don't know that.
no.
But everyone can have an opinion,
Haq.
right? Because he read something, one thing, or two
Mr.
things.
Hamid
or five
has an addition to make here, inshallah.
The four mazahibs, they're based on Quran and Sunnah. They're not.
we are not doing that.
No,
Nobody is debating that.
Yeah.
Nobody is
No.
doing that. What Said is saying is something slightly different. But here's the thing. I need to overemphasize the message that Ala just made right now, because this is very important. None of us has the absolute knowledge. We only have pieces of knowledge. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. Somebody who has knowledge, there is another person who has more. And I always, and this I will conclude with because we have kept the people for Aisha for 20 minutes late now, but I had this debate with my son. I don't know when we're talking about the Sunnah of Dhuhr. And I said, what is Sunnah al-Dhuhr, ya Yusuf? And he said, Sunnah al-Dhuhr is 4 rak'ah before and 4 rak'ah after. And I looked at him. So he's my son, he knows. So I looked at him and I kept looking. And he said, what? Is there anything else? I said, yes, there is. There is. You go to كتب الفقه في فقه السنن and you say you will find that في سنة الظهر تحديدا سنة الظهر you will find that there is a hadith عن ابن عمر that the Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم did 2 ركعة before الظهر and 2 ركعة after الظهر for sunnah. You will also find a hadith عن ستنا عائشة that he did 4 ركعة before and 2 ركعة after. And then Habiba, another hadith wherein he did what you said, 4 rak'ah before and 4 rak'ah after. So the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself, في صلاة الظهر, sunnah, he did 4 rak'ahs, he did 6 rak'ahs, he did 8 rak'ahs. Just to make life easy for us, rahmah. So that we don't stand here and fight with one another. How dare you make 2 and 2 when it is 4 and 4? And I said to Yusuf exactly what Allah is saying here. If your knowledge is that limited, don't make absolute judgments. Don't make absolute judgments. And the example I cite always is the following. That's a Western example that is used. They say, if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem you will see will look like a nail. You see the idea? تمام؟ this is the only tool you have. So every problem you will see, you will have to see it as a nail so as to use the hammer for it. You and I are
in this example also, it's clearly said, right? Prophet has done 4, has done 2. So what I'm saying is that is the only thing I'm saying. Prophet has done 4.
If he has done one thing and one thing only, consistently, khalas.
Nobody is telling Prophet has done 2 only there, right? There itself is clearly, the hadith is there. That is the exact one right. I'm trying to tell you. So if you see something authentic saying,
khalas, and that was the answer we gave Haji. Indeed, if there is no argument about that, this is the one and only practice that Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did. For example, he never fasted a whole month outside of Ramadan. Never. Khalas. This is a sunnah. You cannot come and say, I will fast Rajab Bahar, all of Rajab. That would be contrary to sunnah. مش كده? Things like that. This is an example of something that he has done.
مولانا.
نعم يا شيخ. خلاص اتفق؟ أكرمك الله. اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا وعافنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا انت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين ربنا هب لنا من لدنك رحمه انك انت الوهاب اللهم اجعل تجمعا هذا تجمعا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما امين امين وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين بارك الله فيك اجمعين. Sorry for delaying the Aisha for